Live. My name is Lisa Dublin. I'm a health and life coach, and I enable and empower people to live, to speak, and to lead with confidence because confidence does absolutely make a difference in your life. And I'm hoping that you recognize those differences and you can make a difference in your life if you take the time with all of the stuff that I'll be doing this year. Take the time to figure yourself out, to go out and help the world, because that's what it's all about. So, just to let you know, you'll see a little ticker tape on the bottom of the screen. My new workshop, it's a free virtual workshop that I will be conducting on the 28th of January. That is this month, at the end of this month, okay? This workshop is going to help you to identify, set your goals, and set you on the path to accomplishing them in 2024. Have you signed up? Okay. We are getting lots of sign-ups already. So that's good. I am heading for 100 people this time around. 100 people. So you have to be one of those, not just for the numbers, but to get the word out that there is a process for going after your goals, a one that is tried and proven, one that gets you results. And so if you haven't already, please go sign up. Let me just put some of the information on the screen. You can go to my website, lisamdublin.com. It's right there on the screen, /MIG. And somebody pointed out to me, oh my goodness, the MIG is in capitals. So if you've just been typing in MIG and not getting through, that was my bad. I set the URL and I put it as lisamdublin.com /capital M, capital I, capital G. And you can register for that workshop. And it's really going to be helpful. It's really going to be powerful. I'm doing a lot of new things in my workshops and my offerings this year. I want to have fun. Some added music and photos, and I think I'm a little boring. Okay, so I'm trying to be more exciting and not so deep. And oh my goodness, let's just all get the work done. Let's do something different. So I'm hoping we can actually get that going this year. So if you are watching on Instagram, please let me know. I think I've kind of lost my feed there. I'm not sure, but let's see what happens. So if you are joining me, okay, it is actually going live. So that is good. So just bear with me and I'll get into my topic for today, which is most people haven't done this. Um, okay, there we go. Sorry about that. Okay, let me see if I can stop that. Sorry about that. Okay, it is working. We'll have to figure it out. You guys, here's the one thing most people have not done in 2024. And you tell me if you are one of these people. I would really appreciate your honesty this morning because until I'd done this exercise, I was one of those people. Have you written down your goals for 2024? I'm going to pause. I'm going to let it sink in because it's a yes or no answer. Have you, fellow human being, listening to me this morning on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on YouTube, on Instagram, where else? I feel like I'm missing one of them, wherever it is. Did I say LinkedIn? Yeah, everywhere. In the To All the Girls Success Club. And the diamonds in the club should know better because we've been doing this for a couple years now. Like you should know better. You should have your goals written. But most people have not written down their goals, far less action them. And I'll tell you what I mean, which is why I'm so pushing this workshop this month. Let's get it done. Let's set ourselves on the path to accomplishing some big goals, the most important goals in 2024. And you don't have to do it with a serious face. You don't have to do it and sacrifice everything, but you do have to have a sense of purpose that is going to lead you to do a couple things. And so I wanted to answer the question this morning, or to ask you the question, have you written down your goals? And if you haven't, why haven't you? There's a reason that you have not written down your goals, and I want to present some of those reasons this morning. Because you just have not created, you haven't had the time, right? 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 You haven't had the time. Tell me. You really have not had the time to set your goals. Is that part of the reason that you have not sat down and written down? No, you haven't had the time. You've had the time to do everything else, but you haven't had the time to set your goals. Well, this workshop, MIGS 2024, is going to give you a set time and place to do the work because you need to figure out what you want and how you're going to get there to make sure that you get there. You're not going to get there by accident. right? So one of the reasons we have not written down our goals is because we just have not made the time. Everything else has been important, including, you know, all of the other things, life, normal living, that we let get in the way of doing the strategic things. And strategic means I come out of the ordinary, I come out of the regular, and I take time to do something that is not usual to get a different result. So look at this Makes 2024 free virtual workshop as part of you coming out of the ordinary on Sunday the 28th of January, to come into the room and to do the work that is necessary, that is required for you to win in 2024 and accomplish certain goals. One of the things that I've realized about goal setting, and if you go to my podcast today, wherever you get podcasts, I hope you subscribe to Basement Chronicles, the podcast, and you can listen in on the one that I did today. And I have something to tell you all about this whole podcasting journey. Oh my goodness, you guys. I am enjoying it, but also learning a lot. And when I recorded the podcast, I was talking about the fact that just being locked in with a goal and strategizing as to how to go after it, and every single day making daily deposits into that goal, that's what got me to 800 kilometers last year. Now, for those of you who are thinking that's a lot, all the runners out there and all the walkers are like, oh, that's nothing. Because actually the original goal was 1,023 kilometers, which I missed. And so I just headed for the next best one, which was 800 kilometers, and I did that. And in today's podcast, you can get it on Apple, on Spotify, or on my website. Go to lisamdublin.com. It's right there. You can hear about that journey to 800 kilometers. Hopefully, it's going to prompt you to sign up for this workshop. I really want to get us in the room. I really want to spend some time with you if you are having trouble, one, figuring out your goals, or two, actually putting action to them and putting a strategy to them. This workshop, enhanced workshop, tried and tested workshop, it is going to help you. So why should you write down your goals? Like, why can't I just go through life just, doing what I do, just having some nebulous statement in my head? Yeah, this year I'm going to make money. This year I'm going to lose weight. This year I'm going to finish a course. This year I'm going to be a better parent. What else? What are the other vague goals? Vague meaning that it's not smart, it's not specific, it's not measurable, it's not achievable even. So I can say, right, like at some point last year in 2023, towards the ending, and I talk about it in the podcast from today, I realized that 1,023 kilometers was not possible. Not in October when I was at 600 kilometers. Okay. At some point, you have to cut your losses, and the goal has to be achievable. And so at that point, when I reevaluated, then I realized, okay, 1,023 is not possible. Divvied up the numbers, the days, etc. And so I decided to lower the goal. And that's part of like evaluating life, evaluating the goals to make sure that they are still relevant, that they are still achievable, and then adjusting as needs be to make sure at least you can accomplish something by the end of the year. And so here's why you really should write down your goals. That process of putting pen to paper, putting keyboard to digits to keyboard, whatever, however you decide to write down your goals, that process is very important. The minute you become specific, I want to lose 10 pounds by December 31st, 2024. Ladies, are you with me? Maybe the men too, right? Yes, you're fired up. So Liz says, let me put this notice, let me put this on the screen. Liz says, good morning, Lisa, and all the amazing ladies here. Good, I'm fired up. I appreciate you keeping us accountable. You'll go for 5K. Okay, awesome. Is that 5K? What's that? Is that $5,000? Or is that 5 kilometers? Right? That sounds like you're a businesswoman. So it sounds like it's $5,000, which is good. That's awesome. Okay. The first reason that you should really be specific and write down your goals is that you begin to look for specific ways how, when you have a specific thing that you want to accomplish. I want to lose weight this year, and I'm going to use that example because I'm cheating. It's a very easy example to use. Everybody can literally relate to it. I want to lose weight this year. Your brain does nothing. But I want to lose 10 pounds this year. Then your brain begins to think of, how do I lose the first pound? Because I need to get from the first to the third to the fifth pound to the seventh to the 10th. Those specific numbers become milestones that your brain now begins to find ways or to think of, how am I going to get there? So you need to write down the goals as specifically as possible, and I will teach you how to make your goals smart in the workshop on the 28th of January. So please go to my website, lisamdublin.com/mig, and you can sign up there. Okay. So when you make it specific, your brain begins to think of all the ways why. And you guys, I'm sorry if I'm not seeing all of the comments this morning. I usually go back like I did yesterday, and I'll just like go into the comments, right? And say what, just respond to you. So please stay here. 5 kilometers, need to get my fitness levels up. 5,000 Trinity Money's peanuts. No, girl, we're going for 5K US. Like, we just think at that level one time, right, Liz? Like, that's what we do. That's what we do, right? On a serious note, right? So you begin to look for specific ways how. And then remember, I always like to say, where your focus goes. Anybody knows how I end that little phrase? Where your focus goes, your energy flows. If your focus is on the nebulous, the unformed, the unspecific, as in, I just want to lose weight this, like, how much weight? You're not giving your brain any work to do. You are not employing the best that you can of your beautiful brain to figure out a specific solution to a specific problem. So that's what you need to do. So when you are specific, then you begin to look for specific solutions to the problem, and that's what you need. Nobody just gets everywhere by going anywhere. Wow, I just thought about that. Nobody ever gets anywhere by going everywhere. Nobody ever gets anywhere by just going everywhere. Does that ever happen? That if you know you're heading to town, you're heading to the city, and then you just go down every side street? Do you ever get to the city? No, you never get somewhere by just going anywhere or everywhere. You have to be specific, and that is absolutely necessary. So I'm very serious about goal setting because it has got me places. It wasn't just a matter of having drive. So many people begin the year. I can do it. I can do it. Yeah. You can do what? What's that it? How specific are you? What's the it? Where are you heading? I think I can. I know I can. Where can do what, sis? So we need to get specific. We need to make those goals specific, measurable, achievable, relevant to where you are and what you're doing and what you're trying to accomplish. And of course, time bound. By December 31st, 2024, this is what is going to happen. And I think I had a really great example of this trying to get to 800 kilometers last year, especially in the last 2 months of the year. And if you like listen to the podcast, you can hear me talking about that process and how it comes into play when you make something time bound and you discipline yourself to make daily deposits into the dates that you're heading for. So you guys, I want to stop now. Make sure you go to go to the register for the annual workshop, please. And you can go to, I'm trying to see where it is at. lisamdublin.com/MIG, MIG. That's where you can go register for the upcoming workshop. So when you listen to my podcast, I want some feedback for you. I would appreciate it. I'm asking for it because something happened. You guys know that I do my speaking program, Speak with Confidence, twice a year. It's going to come up in May of 2024. So get ready for that. You can go on my website and get more information about it. You can even like pay for it now if you want to. Make sure you get in because it's only going to be 10 people every single time. Okay. And obviously, as a speaker and a communicator, podcasting is right up my alley. But my first set of episodes, I was having trouble coming to an understanding of what exactly the podcast was. So I started off sounding like a couple people that I follow, very scripted, okay? Until I married some of the principles that I teach in speaking with the whole podcast. And I realized I was simply having a conversation in my basement this one time with an audience. What was getting to me when I recorded the podcast was that I would be thinking of, okay, I have to, this is a take, this is a recording. So in the back of my mind, I have several takes to make to get it right, and I still do more than one sometimes if it's really terrible. But the fact that I'm just simply having a conversation with a live audience, I have my notes, I have an outline, I know how I'm moving from point A to point B, because ultimately it is a conversation. You get feedback through email, through reviews, and all of that. So, by the way, please leave a review if you're watching, if you listen to the podcast. I'd really like that. I have got no reviews so far. People have just emailed me, texted me, but I'd love if you could leave a review on Apple or wherever you listen to the podcast. I'd really, really love that. Okay. And that kind of opened my mind. So I have to tighten it up to tell you the truth, but the last couple episodes, I just employed that mode of thought. I'm having a conversation. A conversation is not scripted. A conversation is alive. A conversation is dynamic, it's organic, and it's free. Not free in the sense of loose, but free in the sense to not be constrained by the dictates of a manuscript or anything of the sort. It was, my goodness, you guys, that just leveled up my game. And so this episode is a little longer because Lisa is now getting into the process of doing this extemporaneously, right? But it's going to get tighter. But I do believe that I actually have the right mindset to be able to do a podcast with my brand is authentic. My brand is, just a bit spontaneous, a bit disarmed, as opposed to being terribly controlled. Okay, that's my brand. And so doing a very scripted podcast was really not me, and I think I unlocked and I became unstuck in my own mind to create a podcast that was more me this time. So I wanted to just share that because, like, one of the best things that I love producing right now is the podcast. I'm not even sure why. Like, what about it is so compelling for me as a creator, a creative as well. I'm not even sure as a communicator. Maybe I'm answering my own question as I say this, but it's very compelling. It's one of the things that I can see myself. I can hardly wait to get to episode 100, episode 200, because it's just naturally me. But in the next episode, I'm going to talk about how, even in spite of loving producing it, I almost stopped and I wasn't regular the couple few times, because I'll tell you why, and give more tips about how to be consistent. Even when there's a passion, sometimes it's not there. The consistency needs more than just a passion for it to be consistent. So I hope you sign up for MIGS 2024. Don't forget to write down your goals. When you write down your goals, that specificity makes your mind go towards specific solutions. How am I going to get there? And lastly, I didn't say this last point, but do you know, when I become specific about certain things, I immediately subtly agreeing not to do other things. And that's another thing I teach in the workshop: constraint. You cannot go after everything in 2024. That is the definition of having potential. Right? Oh yeah, she has potential. Potential is like those sparks, people starting things and not finishing. People starting podcasts and well, that's part of it. I do understand why now. So maybe it's not a very good example, but you see people sputtering, starting and then just petering out. That is because we're doing too many things at the same time. Part of going after your goals in any setting for any period of time is to make the sacrifice to not go after anything else. I'm going to stop here. And I will see you on Monday. We're going to continue on Monday talking about goal setting. Go sign up for MIGS 2024, and I will help you on January 28th to get started and get focused on these goals for the year. Thank you so much for watching, everybody, and do have a wonderful day and weekend. Bye.